from all the energy-based devices, from diode to CO2 to erbium YAG, now coming to radio frequency. I'll invite Dr. Sangeeta Mehrotra ma'am. She's director and senior consultant from Lucknow, Gastro and Gynec Care. Her areas of interest are menopause, infertility, and cosmetic gynecology. Welcome, ma'am. Slide change.
And very good morning to everybody, to all the consultants sitting here. We've been discussing since morning the various lasers which are available. Now we come to another modality, that is the radio frequency. And the lasers are said to be having some thermal or heating effect. But radio frequency is a very calm energy. And it is a very, very important modality, as Dr. Mishra has just told you, that she is using the in mode, which is a radio frequency device. And so I would be discussing the radio frequency, but I would be touching the basics also, so that many people who are sitting in the audience and they want to start their cosmetic practice, they can differentiate between the various modalities. So you should know the basics also. So the types of the various energy devices which are available and which are the technologies to transform as lasers, which we have just discussed, which can be ablative, microablative, and various others, and the radio frequency. So radio frequencies are, it could be monopolar, it could be bipolar, it could be fractional, it could be temperature controlled. The other modalities are high intensity focused ultrasounds and the HIFIM chair. So therefore it is like a cafeteria approach. Like in contraception, we give a cafeteria approach to the patient. It is as per the patient's requirement, as the tissue, whether she's in perimenopause, menopause, or she's just postpartum. So we apply these energy based devices as per the requirements of the patient. Therefore it is a cafeteria approach. So what are the regulatory perspectives? Every person sitting in the audience should know their regulatory perspectives, because it is very important medico-legally. The FDA in 2018 warned against the marketing for SUI. International Urogynecological Association still says that you should be cautious, you should be, it is experimental, and lot of RCTs are required. And there is still no Indian guidelines, no formal endorsement, and it positions itself as an adjunct, as a trial option rather than a standard of care. But things are moving very fast and we should come to a conclusion. So the radio frequency devices, as I just told you, it could be monopolar, it could be bipolar, it could be unipolar, it could be fractional, it could be ablative, it could be non-ablative. So how to decide which modality, what is required as per the patient? The monopolar device which is available as of now is known as Thermiva. The bipolar device, what we are using is in mode, and it has 3 probes or 3 handles. The Morpheus V8, I think Dr. Yukti is sitting here and she's been using since ages now, and she has trained me also. So Morpheus V8, the V-tone and the Forma V, and we can swear by it. And I think she will endorse me for that. So how does really laser work? The RF frequency work. अभी आपने देखा कि laser needs lot of, it needs a chromophore. You should know your skin, which stage of the skin, and whether you are type 4, type 3. So in radio frequency, all this is not required. No chromophores, whether like in GSM, the skin, the vaginal lamina propria is devoid of any lubrication. There's hardly any water, and it is parchment-like. So अगर आपने erbium laser use किया, which is extremely water-loving, there is no lubrication, no water in the vagina. So how will it work? And it doesn't reach the deeper tissues. It is a very superficial, water-loving laser. How will it work? So sorry, the previous a speaker was commenting upon the GSM, the erbium laser over GSM, but I would contradict that. So in radio frequency, you just don't need all this. No, you can use it in all skin types, no chromophobes are required, and it is a very calm energy, it is a very controlled energy. Even your assistant can do the radio frequency. When you're not, like you're attending your conferences, your assistant can do the sitting for the patient, except in the microablative ones. So the histological effect, it makes the stratified squamous epithelium very thick. The basal cell hyperplasia increases the glycogen, increases the mucins, increases the collagen, elastin. It makes the lamina more compact. It increases the vascularization, and it even increases the sensitivity of the vagina. So the typical outcomes that it strengthens the vaginal and the pelvic musculature, it causes the thickening of the lamina propria, increases the vascularity, new vasculogenesis occurs, increases the sensitivity, improves the continence, even in the early prolapse, although many people would disagree, and it is very, very effective in overactive bladders. And these results can be seen within weeks. So at least you need 6 weeks for the, that is the interval between 2 sittings. So after the first sitting, at least 6 weeks are required, because it is a healing cascade. And once the healing cascade is over, then only the patient will let you know whether it is really effective or not. The best results are seen after 2 to 3 months when the collagen renews, and results, they do last for a year or 2, and memory sessions are required thereafter. So these device-based procedures are said to be coffee break. In ThermEva, you may require 30 to 40 minutes, because 20 minutes for the external and 20 minutes for the internal sittings. But in mode, you may hardly need 8 minutes. So they are just coffee break procedures or lunchtime procedures. The patient walks in and walks out, very convenient for the patients. 3 sittings are the basic. You can even increase it as per the requirement of the patient, and usually given 4 to 6 weeks apart. Touch-up or memory sessions are very, very important, and you have to counsel the patient before you start the therapy. Please tell her that you would be required. It's not one time. You are aging, all your muscles and all your tissues are aging, so you definitely need a memory session at the end of 1 year or even 2 years. And it is completely painless, no anesthesia, no downtime, and early sexual activity can be resumed, and early exercises can be resumed, so non-surgical and completely non-invasive. So what is the pre-treatment preparations? Very, very important is every cosmetic gynecologist should have their proper protocol in place. A consent form, a very elaborate consent form should be made by them. It can be tailor-made also, and try to make the patient understand and take the proper consent from the patient. Because still it is not accepted by the FDA or even by the Indian authorities. And the Pap test should be up to date. You can even do a STI screening. That is also very important. You can even give a prophylaxis of acyclovir, because you never know, patient might be having a history of herpes. And if she is shaving the area, it should be done at least 2 to 3 days prior to the procedure. And no, she should not be on any aspirin or anticoagulants. So the post-procedure, if the patient wants, she can apply the estrogen gel twice if she is menopausal per week. But very important is that she should report if she is having any urine leak, any foul smell from the vagina, or any excessive discharge. Because if you are using these modalities, you might injure, although it is a very calm energy, but still. So patient should be properly counseled that she should inform if excessive discharge is there, although at times it is just a transient discharge. So indications, as other speakers have already said, postpartum laxity, GSM, vaginal infections, SUI, superficial dyspareunia, and sexual dysfunctions. Others could be lichen sclerosis, warts, vulvodynia, and provoked vulvodynia. You don't have any choice except applying such EBDs. So the contraindications are if the patient is having a pacemaker or a defibrillator, even a cochlear implant, and recurring herpetic infections, and patients undergoing radioactive treatments. So very, very important is the assessment of the indices. This is very important: Vaginal Health Index, FSFI, and ICIQ questionnaires. And now the bipolar RF, I just told you there are two RFs, the unipolar and the bipolar. Bipolar has two modes, unipolar has one mode, and here you can see the difference. The bipolar goes deep, the unipolar is very superficial. The fractional non-ablative, as I just told you, these are having the needles. It is fractional radiofrequency RF, and it is microablative. And here the needles, they go at the distance of 1, 2, or 3 mm, and you can set it accordingly. These are the histological changes. Now this is the FORMA-V. It is for the external use. It is for the vulva, and it is completely non-ablative. And the settings are usually done fortnightly. This is the V-tone. This is for the pelvic neuromuscular re-education, and this can be given on a weekly basis. That is every 7th day. So here you can see the UV angle restoration, the tightening of the pelvic floor. It is like, as you all know, the Kegel doesn't work. Does it really work? No, it doesn't work. So you can use such devices. It is for the muscle stimulation and muscle re-education. The monopolar is the Thermiva. It is said that bipolar devices, they are much safer than the monopolar devices. Although monopolar devices give you better results, they go deeper. So this is the probe, but the other problem with the radiofrequency device is that you cannot reuse. Supposing you are using the probe, it is use and throw. So every time you need so there's too many overheads. So the whole procedure becomes very expensive. But with the laser, you can keep on using the same probe again and again. So this is only the disadvantage with radiofrequency devices. So here you can see for the vaginal relaxation syndrome, here the GSM, improving the sexual dysfunctions and the dyspareunia, the Rugi, they improve. But please always do some pelvic physiotherapy with them. Consider psychosocial screening for such patients, which is very, very important. So this is the lichen sclerosis, but this is very late stage. Agar aapne early stage mein lichen sclerosis mein apply kiya, it will give you much, much better results. And please do your biopsies before you apply any such therapies. So here you are addressing the stress incontinence along with the PRP. As somebody says, key combination therapy, they do work. Unipolar में आपको अपना grounding pad नहीं use करना पड़ेगा. So that is the only difference between monopolar and unipolar, and it goes deeper than the monopolar. So because there are so many devices and people will come up to you that ये तो monopolar device है, bipolar. So all this you should know before buying it. So what we need to know as a cosmetic gynecologist or an aesthetic and a regenerative gynecologist, that your consent should be customized. Please be very, very thorough with your consent, calming the expectations, no unrealistic results for the patient. Counseling should be recorded if possible. Illustration-based consultation should be offered to the patient. Tell them what is normal, what is abnormal. Patient may come with vague requirements. Online, if patient gives you a phone call and she said, I want to get this done, please give only guidance. And documentation before and after is very important. You can even take a click on her own mobile. Never click it on your mobile. Please click it in her mobile. She will keep it with her before and after the picture. So this is very, very important. अपने आप मोबाइल में कभी भी किसी की such photos, please don't keep it, and please don't put it on the social media.
I
also.
think with the consent of the client, we can have.
Yeah, if she agrees, it's
Yes,
fine.
that's what.
But if she keeps it with, you have to ask her if she
You take
doesn't.
the consent, written
you
informed
have,
consent.
Yes, yes. If she gives you the consent, it's fine. But it's always better कि वो अपने मोबाइल में रखे. And disclaimer should be put on your consultation paper. That is very, very important. Because वो कल को आएगी, बोलेगी आपने तो बोला था ये हो जाएगा, but it doesn't. And testimonials, if given by the patient, because many times you do see testimonials, it can be either written or it could be video based. So navigating the future with such EBDs, Integrating the temperature feedbacks, fractional delivery systems have come up in a big way. Combined energy platforms or the hybrid platforms will also improve the outcomes. Long-term follow-up, head-to-head device trials, very, very important. Transparent marketing, very important. Avoiding over-promises to the patient. Accessing to the systems which are not, this is completely non-negotiable. क्योंकि आपके पास हो सकता है कोई और डिवाइस हो, किसी और के पास दूसरी डिवाइस हो, तो they will say they will guarantee some other percentage of improvement and you will guarantee so. So all this should be completely transparent and we should come up with guidelines from the FOXI and the Indian Menopause Society. So thank you so much.